Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. I am the Battle Room, and today I'm joined by Alex. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, everybody. I am not the Battle Room. I'm Alex.
Alex Lexicon, VGC, who also coaches, which I will link down below. You should check him out. But anyways, today we are going to be taking a look at Louis Milich versus Joey S., also known as POKEAIM. I wanted to review one of POKEAIM's sets because I thought, it's pretty cool that we had a singles player pop off as hard as he did at the regional. These regionals aren't easy. It's not easy to, go deep into a 800 person regional and top 8 the entire thing, which is absolutely nuts. And with kind of a weirder, it's pretty meta in a degree, to a degree, right? Like, there's not super crazy Pokemon here, but it is also a team that I wouldn't have expected to do as well as it did going into Milwaukee.
Yeah, really, really cool seeing singles representation over here. I mean, Mons is Mons, is what everybody's been saying, and I guess that's just facts. It's really cool. I was rooting for Joey going all the way because I am a big POKEAIM fan, and it's just so cool to see him play well, do well, and I'm sure this is gonna be a banger set.
Yeah, and especially against a team that is the one of the meta standard teams right now. I think this is one of the only well established cores or 6 Pokemon we saw going into this one, because this is the first format of the season, or the first regional of the format, sorry. So it is everything is kind of up in the air. It's just crazy shit being thrown left and right. So there's nothing really you can prepare for fully except for maybe this one. So we'll have to see how Joey approaches this one.
Right. I know that he did do a little bit of practice for this one after talking with him. So this might be one that he's, seen before, one that he has an established game plan into. That said, it's still going to be a little bit tricky because there are some Pokemon that you potentially speed tie, like Miraidon and Koraidon, or Ursaluna and Iron Hands.
I think this is also a really good Ho-Oh match. Ho-Oh is he's a weird restricted. He matches up into some restricteds really, really well and others really, really bad. But Koraidon Lunala is his bread and butter. This is the reason to run him. Well, besides Zam, CSR as well. Those two together make Ho-Oh a legitimate top tier threat in this format.
Unfortunately, I do believe it's finding itself across from Meteor Beam, so it's going to have to watch out for that. It's good. There's some good, there's some bad. Once Lunala uses the Meteor Beam, it's a lot more in your favor. But yeah, and then also Ho does have to watch out for the Ursaluna. I think that's going to be the driving force in this matchup, is that once Trick Room goes up, Luna is very difficult to deal with. We're kind of seeing that as a general premise in the whole format right now, is that Lunala Ursaluna are a really menacing duo.
Yeah, they're absolutely disgusting. And I think Joey's team is pretty interesting in the regards of the Iron Treads with no protect and Iron Bundle. We have the double Cork Drive Speed Booster Mons. Amazing in the mirror. Obviously a little bit worse here, and we'll have to see how he's going to navigate this one. I do think Knockoff could come up. I don't know if he's going to bring the Treads, but Knockoff does help with the Meteor Beam you're talking about. But we'll have to see. And then obviously on the other side, we do have this really boring, standard-ish team that we all know at this point. I feel like going into this tournament, you had to know about Lunala. But specifically, this is the standard one. Obviously, Lunala plus Ursaluna won, but it was not like this one. It was a little different. It was with Miraidon.
Yeah, honestly, I think every single Pokemon here is just exactly what you'd expect them to be. So, no surprises here for people going into this tournament. This was one of the builds to prepare for. And I mean, it's just a sign of its inherent strength, because it's got a fast mode with Chi-Yu, Flutter, and Koraidon, the slow mode with Brute Bonnet, Lunala, and Ursaluna, and you can kind of blend them together in a way. The tricky thing is going to be, figuring out which of these modes that we're going up against and what tools we want to use to beat them. Because Iron Bundle, very good at dealing with the fast mode. Iron Bundle outspeeds all of these Pokemon when it's in electric terrain. However, if you find yourself across from the Trick Room side of things, Iron Bundle probably going to be the slowest Pokemon in Trick Room, and also very frail. So, yeah, how do you go about calling exactly which one is going to be a bit of a gamble, a bit of a game, guessing game, I guess.
I think that the strength of this team is it is all about that guessing game. You have 2 really, really strong modes that you have to respect, and it's usually impossible to call both of them at once. So we'll have to see which one Lewis decides to go for. Also, Lewis has had a good season. He's popped off. He's like top 20 in CP right now. He's doing incredibly well. And yeah, we'll have to see how consistently putting up top cuts. And then again, this is Joey's first chance here in top cut. We'll have to see how he approaches this one. He also hasn't competed in a regional in like 8 years, I heard, right? Like,
right,
coming out of nowhere. And we are going to see that Trick Room open from Lewis here with the Brute Bonnet and Lunala. But you also have to be afraid, right? Like, because like that doesn't mean that the Trick Room Pokemon are in the back, like confirmed. He could just be doing it to bait something or just to give his Lunala those extra turns. But we are going to see that Iron Bundle from Joey here.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think it's bait. I think that, you know, if you see this, it's because we've realized that, yeah, Ursaluna just kind of runs through the whole team, and like it is kind of like a what are you going to do to stop me approach, you know? There's a slim chance that it could be the nonstop. I think it's absolutely just Ursaluna in the back here. And the problem is, how do you walk the fine line between, you know, doing enough damage to be threatening while also not just KOing this Brute Bonnet outright on a Rage Powder and letting Ursaluna come in on the first turn of Trick Room?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, if Ursaluna doesn't really need, depending especially on what Joey locks into here, Ursaluna doesn't even need that extra turn of burn. It can just do the damage early right away and just start dealing and just start going nuts. But we are going to see a turn 1 Freeze Dry, and we're going to see a Volt Switch here. So we're going to see Brute Bonnet go down, trading a KO for that Trick Room, which is usually what you have to pay for. Because the Freeze Dry Electro Drift is real. It can one-shot Lunala.
Yeah, exactly. The Lunala there was a little too important to be risked there. And yeah, I mean, Lunala's still yet to move. It could have gone for a non-Trick Room move, but it seems very much like if it's Rage Powder, it's got to be Trick Room. And immediately with Iron Hands on the field here, you know, Joey might have preferred to have Giraffe in the matchup. We'll have to see if we adapt to that later or not. But the Giraffe here could have at least reversed the Trick Room. Iron Hands, at best, is going to have a speed tie against the bear, and both players do have Terra still, so you know, a low kick would be an easy pickup on this Ursaluna if it stayed a normal type. However, this one is Ghost Terra, and we're going to have to watch out for that.
That's huge. I did see some other players running this team in the tournament. They opted for Fairy, but Ghost is just so fucking nice here. You have double Ghost potentially, so you're able to potentially kill Iron Bundle if you want to, or you could threaten damage onto hands too. You could just wide guard EQ double Ghost. You could, I mean, I think Terra Ghost is obviously the play here. But yeah, we'll have to see how he's going to do this one. I do like the idea of the Terra Water. At least you do get a turn of like, you know, you're going to live. You're not going to get one shot by Headlong Rush. But still, It seems like a pretty negative spot for Joey after this turn 1. Even though he did get a free turn 1 KO.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, I think both players, you know, kind of got a little bit of something they wanted on that last turn. I will say Iron Bundle still doing a decent job here because the Sash is enabling it to be just bulky enough, just annoying enough in the Trick Room that, you know, it's still going to take 2 hits to knock it out. Yeah. And if Ursaluna does go for something like a Headlong Rush, it is going to lower its defenses, and that might just enable us to get off enough damage. So you do see the Wild Charge, though, on the Terra Call, which is a 2-hit KO. And that actually might go a long way here because the Iron Hands is just one more speed tie win away against this Ursaluna, unless the Ursaluna has speed investment, to just, like, you know, survive this Trick Room against the bear. The 5 turns, what is it, 5 Nights with Freddy, basically, or whatever?
Yeah, 5 Nights with Freddy. Yeah, he's waiting. He's ready to go. Joey did almost time out there, and it just kind of worked out perfectly, too. Not committing the Terra, and this bundle still has its Sash intact. This is going amazing here. Because now I think it's just a free, like, you could protect if you're Lewis, right? You could protect Moonguy's Beam, break the Sash, because you assume maybe a double up's going into Ursaluna. But I also think a double up in Ursaluna feels pretty good. I'm not seeing too much downside on this current turn with it.
Right. I mean, Iron Bundle still having that Sash means that it's not actually able to be KO'd because, you know, you can't really go for... I mean, you could Earthquake your own Lunala for a lot of damage, but then it's questionable if it KOs Iron Hands if it goes for the Terra, and then you'd have to Moongeist to follow up the into the Iron Bundle. So you can't pick up 2 KOs here without doing a little bit of damage to yourself.
I really like this switch into Ho-Oh too because it covers for so much, right? Like it covers for that EQ we're talking about, but it also covers for this Moongeist beam because conserving that sash onto Iron Bundle is very real and very, very useful here. Wow, Ho-Oh is ginormous, by the way.
It is. Especially when it's in that right side. It's like blocking so much of the screen. Hands goes down to a critical hit here, and honestly, it was probably on the edge because that is a +1 Lunala, and so that's really strong. Iron Hands can be a very tanky Pokemon, so hard to say. Regardless, both players now know that Iron Hands is no longer going to be part of this battle, and so you just got to keep it moving. But yeah, this next turn is the tricky one. We're coming up towards the end of Trick Room here, and the question is, what is Ursaluna going to target? Because once again, we have a guaranteed survival on one of our Pokemon on Joey's side here. Iron Bundle with the Focus Sash. Ho-Oh being flying means that Earthquake can't damage it while hitting the bundle. And yeah, it just means that, if Joey recognizes like a way to get some like guaranteed trade that might work out for him, might still be able to come out on top here.
I think I feel like I'm thinking a double protect might just be the best option here. He's not going to go for it just because I'd want to stall out the Trick Room so that Miraidon can guarantee come in safely. But I guess also potentially doubling this Ursaluna does feel pretty good here because you are going to stop. It's going down no matter what, so you're getting rid of it.
Right.
And Miraidon could come in relatively safely depending on speeds and what comes in here. And there's the Brave Bird.
Right. I do think actually, counting the turns, there is one more Trick Room turn after this one.
Yeah. That's why I was thinking double protect though, so that way Miraidon can come in on the when it's over. But Joey does not care. He's gonna let his bundle go down because he is just gonna double bundle, which I think feels fine. Safe play. It's nothing too crazy.
Right. I think something about this turn is, Joey could have been making this decision with the basically thinking that he's going to be the slower Pokemon in Trick Room, because Miraidon comes in and maybe it's modest Miraidon. I actually do believe the answer is timid, but if it were modest Miraidon, that would be a decision to make. Is that looking at the rest of Uncle Lou's team here, it's Koraidon, Chi-Yu, and Fluttermane all likely to be faster than your Miraidon. But it is actually Koraidon here, and there's a very high chance that these Pokemon are speed tying.
I do think he might just win now, though. That play was actually real nice, because now Ho-Oh threatens the KO onto that guy. Lunala probably can't kill anything. So you probably just get to take Lunala out with the Drift, threaten the Brave Bird, and then I think you win with the Drifts.
Right.
Depending on if Koraidon can kill Ho-Oh and then Miraidon after. So I feel pretty good if you're Joey here. This game one's looking nice. He doesn't opt for the protect, so this is just gonna wipe his ass out. He's out of here. Dead Koraidon.
I know that when I was watching this live, I caught some of this live. I was not 100% confident Ho-Oh had it in him. I know that it's 120 base power off of a restricted Pokemon, but Ho-Oh just doesn't feel like it hits as hard as some of the other restricteds that have 6 abilities multiplying all their damage. But Ho-Oh, 120 base power, super effective. Of course, it's going to one-shot the Koraidon there. And that's just a clean endgame after getting just enough turns right to survive the Trick Room.
He did survive the 5 nights there. He really did, and he survived it well. He played that Trick Room really, really well, even though he had the faster team. Like you mentioned with that bundle, I thought the bundle play was some of the best parts of it, right? He got the value out of the Sash bundle even in Trick Room, and he wasn't dead weight the entire time. He kind of, I would say he's kind of the MVP. He didn't get any kills, but he was living. He was chilling.
Yeah, that Sash is just some really good security in Trick Room. And so you'll see a lot of Sash Pokemon as good ways to deal with Trick Room, whether that's a Sash on a Fluttermane, a Sash on a Gen Pal. The fact that these Pokemon take 2 hits to knock out means that, when you're amping the damage up to the absolute ceiling with these, +1 Moongeist beams, with these Guts boosted facades or headlong rushes, just being able to live on 1 HP, it effectively makes you, quote, tanky. You are a bulky Pokemon if it takes 2 nukes to remove you.
Yeah, and I think also one thing to note about Joey's 4 that he brought at least was only one of them had protect the entire time. Or I guess two of them. Bundle could protect as well. But he was able to stall out pretty effectively. He lost the hands pretty early. And yeah, he played that well. Cannot complain.
Yeah, I think he brought all of his protects, right? I mean, we benched Iron Treads there, which is Life Orb for attacks, and Giraffe, which most commonly doesn't run protect. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe that was actually the reason to bring Bundle in this matchup, was simply just to have protects for stalling Trick Room.
Yeah, and I mean he did his job. And like you said, though, Bundle is the fastest Pokemon in this game against these guys. So having the potential to beat the fast mode with the Bundle as well, like Joey kind of covered for both. I did say you can't cover for both, but Joey did. So I don't know. I think Lewis probably does stick to his guns a little bit there. I think that is probably the move. I think those 4 Pokemon are good, and it's just about getting more value out of that bear if he wants to beat this team. And at this point,
I went and looked at it because I was curious, and no, it looks like Ho-Oh. As long as it's got like an adamant nature and a little bit of investment, it should be one-shotting a Karide. So
I would hope so.
I don't know. Karide's got like a 115 defense stat. It's like kind of bulky, but
he's good. He's good. Yeah, but he means a Gen 2 bird, right? So it is like, man, do you trust the Gen 2 Pokemon against the guy that just came out like 2 years ago? I don't know. Oh, we're gonna see Iron Treads this time. Holy shit! He actually brought it. What booster is it? Is it speed, right? I imagine. Okay, it is speed. I was gonna say you could do like a Volt Switch Earthquake, which would be really fucking funny. But yeah, it is speed, so it's gonna move first.
I did that while trying out Audie's team on stream the other day, and the Incineroar protected. It was close team sheet, and I Volt Switched and then got denied and Earthquaked myself, and I was like, what am I doing? Anyways, yeah, it's looking like it's going to be somewhat of a similar spot to the previous game. I'm not exactly sure what Treads is doing that much differently than Bundle here. Its typing allows it to take some choice attacks, no pun intended, but basically just like, you know, it has some resists. It resists Facade. It has Terra. I think it's actually Terra Ground, not Terra Ghost. So, Terra Ground, yeah. No, I don't really know what the plan is for it, besides maybe baiting out that Rage Powder early on turn 1, so that, kind of like what we saw in the first game I was mentioning, taking that early KO can work against you. And this time around, Joey, you know, preventing Ursaluna from getting in on the first turn of Trick Room.
Yeah, he's slowing it down a little bit. Now he does potentially threaten. I mean, nothing can switch in on this Drain Punch, right? You're getting a free KO onto either Brute Bonnet, or you're chunking Ursaluna or Koraidon. So you gotta sacrifice the Brute Bonnet there, and then it's up to, you know, he's slow playing this Trick Room a little bit. I would have probably liked to see that Bundle, though. I really do wonder if this is gonna come to bite him in the ass, because like the Protect might actually matter here.
Yeah, I just not really seeing the vision with the Treads, being completely honest. Like, maybe it was baiting out something very particular in the lead, or maybe expecting a completely different lead. But in terms of dealing with the previous game's game plan, not adding a whole lot.
Ooh, I like this play from Lewis here, though. It's all about getting that Ursaluna in. We've played a lot of Ursaluna, and it really is, when you can get that free Ursaluna in, it feels good. I like that Joey stayed in, though. This is going to be a single target Gleam here onto Miraidon, which I'll take that. Onto Miraidon, onto Ursaluna. It's going to feel good here. It's going to do like half. Ooh, just a little bit under. Not bad, not bad.
And that is another really strong part of the synergy about Ursaluna and Lunala is, you know, it is a ghost type and a normal type paired together. So, you know, it's not that likely that Joey is going to low kick the Lunala there, reading the Ursaluna. More likely a wild charge going that way, or a attack into the Brute Bonnet from the Iron Hands. And I mean, Joey's already showed a willingness to attack something within an attack the opposing Pokemon is immune to. So it's a read that he could have made. But I think that's the key part of this matchup, is since Ursaluna didn't get in on the first turn to Trick Room, you have to make a risky switch like that on the other turn, or you're never going to get enough turns to even use your bear.
Yeah, it's very true, especially because Brute is going down, so he's running out of Pokemon. There's no option for a second Trick Room here. He doesn't have something like a Moongus to like Pollen Puff things back up. So he does got to get this right, but he is opting to switch out the Iron Hands, which is pretty wild there into Treads. He really wants to eat this Facade. He's counting on this Facade. So I think if an Earth in EQ is just ripped here, it could be actually Curtains. Oh
right.
no, he just went for it. He did not care. He said, you can Drain Punch me. And there it is.
And Earthquake.
Yeah, Iron Treads is so fucking dead.
I feel like maybe... I feel like we just needed to play the 50-50 with Iron Hands. It's tough because it's like a 50-50, 50-50 for Joey here. Whether, like, you have to make the call on whether or not the bear is going to stay its normal typing or Terra, and also, on top of that, win the speed tie. Yeah. And so it's very much in Lewis's favor here to get the, something to go their way on the turn. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Iron Hands was healthy enough there that you could have always, given yourself 2 chances by going for, the defensive Terra. We still haven't used Terra on Joey's side. So I think something like that might have been the correct approach.
Yeah, I also feel like you potentially could have just switched out Miraidon to a Ho-Oh. I don't think the Meteor Beam was super likely as well. I don't know. We are just in kind of a rough spot right now. I do think Headlong Rush Meteor Beam is a real play into that Miraidon. That is definitely not a bad move. So I do think it's not unreal to lose your Ho-Oh instantly if you made that switch. But the Earthquake play obviously would have been real nice. But now you, I mean, it's technically still winnable. You do have to work around this Meteor Beam, though. That's the big thing. Now it's staring you down, and you have to deal with the Terras. And he's going to time out here. Oh, no. Okay. So
yeah, some of these turns coming down to the wire. I mean, this is where it's, kind of funny to just joke and say, Joey's really showing his, single-player side here. Because they have, 200-plus seconds sometimes for these turns when you're playing on Pokemon Showdown. But in VGC, sometimes it's crunch time.
Yeah. So he is going to get
Wild Charge does get the Luna. He gets half of the 50-50 right here. Yeah. Shows right, but was not faster. So if Joey won that speed tie, I think there's a pretty good chance that he goes on to win the game. But unfortunately, we don't have enough Pokemon left to make a comeback here.
Man, I really do think if he won the speed tie, he did win, even with his timeout. I did notice in game 1 he was struggling with the time as well. There was one of the bundle turns, he just freeze-dried Lunala on a whim. He is not used to this timer, which is kind of funny. He did play the whole tournament, obviously, with it, and I'm sure it's crunch time now. I'm sure he really wants that top 8. That's going to look so nice if he makes it in. Or I guess he's top 32 at this point, right?
Right.
Yeah, so now it is awkward. It is you do still have that Meteor Beam threat, and you also have the second pin of the Koraidon. But also, you are slower than Lunala here. So are you able to just, oh no. I don't know if he knows it. Because I saw he was slower in game 1 with Lunala and Ho-Oh.
Right.
So I think as long as he just doesn't Terra Fire, he might just still win. He might still have a shot. He might just give us a game 3 for content here. Oh no, he's gonna go for the Koraidon KO. Okay. I respect the Terra Grass then. Okay, that makes sense.
I like that he puts the controller down too. I don't know. This isn't a put the controller down because the game's already won type situation. Even if this was the play that wins the game, even if this was a play that moves us towards winning the game, you're still gonna have to click one more move. There's 2 Pokemon. We're clicking single target attacks. But yeah, Terra Grass here. It does end up enabling us to get the KO on the Koraidon, but I think you're absolutely right. I think just an attack into Lunala, we saw that Terra had already been used, and Sun was... I guess Sun wasn't running out. Sun was just set up, but I think your best bet is to just try to take 2 Flare Blitzes. Because yeah, unfortunately, Meteor Beam ends up doing just a bit too much to Ho-Oh here. Yeah. As much as it is a special defensive tank, +1 Moongeist is likely to just finish the job from here.
And the Trigger ends perfectly. I do see the vision there. because it is very unlikely that Koraidon is protecting there. So you do get this potential. Like I think Joey just said, I think I can leave Meteor Beam plus Moongeist, but I think this recoil is just gonna be barely enough. Whereas like he didn't want to risk 2 Flare Blitzes, because like really Koraidon does do a lot of damage. I think maybe Koraidon does 2-hit KO Ho-Oh with Flare Blitz. So I don't know. He might have been cooked regardless here. I'm not really sure, but either way, yeah, it's just going to be a slow Moongeist. He's stalling the burn, he's stalling the Moongeist, but it is probably not going to be enough here.
Yeah, it's funny, I guess, just like after seeing the Moongeist damage, just like saying, you know, well, I don't have any shot, maybe just try to PP stall out all the Moongeists. It is actually pretty comparable, Meteor Beam and Moongeist Beam, I believe, because you get a 1.5 from Stab versus the +1, which is also 1.5 from clicking Meteor Beam. So Meteor Beam is just a little bit stronger because Meteor Beam, I believe, is 120 base power. So actually maybe a little bit more than a little bit stronger, but yeah, that is, but this is a +1 Moongeist Beam. So yeah, it's just so much damage.
It's just nuts. That's one of the best parts about Meteor Beam is the power of the Moongeist beams. Obviously, we didn't like that set. We don't like that set. We like being able to hit normal types.
That's terrible, I will say. I'll say it here.
I love
it might have won that set there. I think it's still terrible.
All right, so I think going into the third game, what are you doing if you're Joey here? How are you adapting? And what are you doing if you're Lou? Because I think Lou should just stick to the guns. Honestly, I think the 4 Pokemon he's bringing are probably correct. I don't think Chi-Yu or Fluttermane is going to help with this Ho-Oh whatsoever, and I think he has to rely on the 4 he's got. So I think it's up to Joey to adapt and how he wants to finesse his way back into the set to potentially win and move on in the tournament.
Yeah, Lewis is just deciding that, you know, this is the mode that gives me the best shot, and as long as I don't get red just about every turn, I should be able to come out on top. I mean, it was pretty close. Still in this game, but you have to get like a lot of turns right. I guess kind of on both ends. Like, you know, the Trick Room element is adding a timer to the match, and once Trick Room runs out, like it will probably just depend on who has more Pokemon alive. As we saw, this time it was Lewis, so Lewis ended up winning, essentially. But the thing I think is the missing piece is the Giraffe. The Giraffe, like, while it's not amazing at doing damage to a Lunala that can defensive Terra, and it's not really going to do much about the Brute Bonnet either, I think having the option to reverse the Trick Room, that Electric Seed giving you another Pokemon that can survive attacks from the Ursaluna, and it also kind of walls Lunala once it uses its Meteor Beam. It could always reverse that Trick Room a bit early and give us a way out of Trick Room aside from just surviving 4 turns.
That is true. I do think it could have value. I also think the Iron Hands just didn't do enough last game, and I think maybe just like on that turn he should have risked that 50-50 like we talked about. Oh shit, we're seeing the turn 1 swap. Is he going straight into Bear? He's going straight into Bear. Holy shit, he doesn't give a fuck.
This is something that I think was a bit of a misconception, in my opinion, from Lou here, because the idea is like, okay, yeah, they're always doubling into my Brute Bonnet to get the kill. I've been clicking Rage Powder, and it's always like Freeze Dry, Volt Switch into it to kill it. But Joey's not actually that interested in killing the Brute Bonnet. It's just, you know, if it clicks Rage Powder, both the attacks are going to go into it. We're always wanting to put the damage down on the Lunala. Brute Bonnet's not actually doing anything in this match besides simply clicking Rage Powder. And so it ends up leading to probably, like, not like the worst situation for Frunkaloo here, but, you know, you don't want to take that much damage on your Bear on the way in just to get the Flame Orb.
It's actually nuts because Joey took no damage there whatsoever, and Lou lost his Shadow Shield and took like 75% on Bear. So, like, it was a very expensive Trick Room. Probably the most
Flame Orb's up.
You're gonna get. Yeah. Flame Orb is up. That is the big one. And now, again, like we mentioned before, it really is. It keeps coming down to this goddamn 50-50-50-50, right? Like, whether or not Bear Terras, whether or not who wins the speed die. So we're going to see here.
I think you actually see that Joey recognizes a much stronger play here that looks like a call, looks like a prediction or something like that, but actually is just safe. Wild Charge, recognizing that, you know, this is electric terrain boosted, Quark Drive boosted. I'm going to get the KO on this Lunala. And since Iron Hands is bulky, it's going to be able to survive a facade, even if the Ursaluna wins the speed tie. Iron Bundle has its sash, so it's also not going down to the facade. So you always just get to KO that Lunala, and Bundle would get to KO the Ursaluna. It was either a double KO or Ursaluna protected, and you get nothing. So it was a incredibly strong recognition of the position from Joey there. And yeah, from here, it just seems like you're only a couple of safe plays away from turning this into a dub.
Yeah, I think this is really safe. Like, that turn was really, really nice from Joey. He said, I'm not going to give you... Like, he just put the gas down in the right position, like you mentioned. And I don't think Lou necessarily saw that one coming. I think he tried to play it safe, tried to play it slow, and tried to get chip with Lunala and try to get those extra turns. But unfortunately, Joey, he called that shit out, and it just ends up being a godlike turn for him here. So we are going to see a Terra from Lou onto this bear. I don't know if it can go the distance any longer at this point, because also there's still a fucking Ho-Oh in the back. You need this bear alive, and the bear needs to kill Ho-Oh, because I don't think Koraidon can do it in time. So the bear needs to get its value here. We're going to see that Rage Powder, and we're going to see the Drain Punch come through first.
Iron Hands does go first with this speed tie win, and that does mean that because it heals, it shouldn't be in range of a facade anymore. I'm not sure if it was in range of a facade either way. It probably was.
It definitely was, yeah.
So speed tie is still playing an important role there, and it just meant that if it won the speed tie, Brute Bonnet walked away from the turn much healthier. Now, was that going to be a guaranteed win otherwise? I'm not 100% sure. We talked about how Brute Bonnet is a bit of a low impact Pokemon in this matchup, and Joey does have Ho-Oh in the back, which means that with Ursaluna down to just one burn tick away, could have just swapped into Ho-Oh and double protected to survive the onslaught of the bear, get it KO'd, and then from there, Ho-Oh, even though it might get spored by the opposing Brute Bonnet, its defensive typing is just too strong into the final two Pokemon that Lou would have. But speed tie definitely changed the narrative here a little bit.
Yeah, it did make it a lot easier, where now I think Joey just can't lose this. I think the bear is on it's literally about to die to the burn, and as long as Joey... I mean, he doesn't even have to press protect at this point. I think he's winning no matter what, because the bear is just cooked, and that's all that matters. Is the bear is gone, Ho-Oh is gonna clutch this one up. This was a very, I mean, that turn one was really just what broke this game 3 wide open. It was a little bit of an oversight from Lou that Joey wanted to Volt Switch the Brute, but he always wanted to break that shield, and he always wanted that damage there. And it was just, I mean, like, I like the play of always pressing Volt Switch in that Lunala too, because Brute means little to nothing. So I do think, like, targeting it there does always mean you're switching, because if he switches in that slot, you're like, okay, dude, Trick Room's not up, I don't care, you know? So just really well, you know, mechanically executed from Joey here to win this game 3. And now the bear's dead. Goodbye, bear.
Yeah, I think turn 1 honestly just kind of made it all wraps. After that, I feel like Joey just made very strong decisions every turn. There was there was still some speed tie elements to it, but yeah, I mean, Bundle's just gonna lock this up. I mean, it does what it does best, which is outspeed Koraidon, and you kind of just got him pinned on both sides. The Iron Hands being the fast one in Trick Room, and the Bundle being faster than everything outside of it. Really, really cool showcase of what the team can do.
Yeah, and I think Joey played really well. He played with the speed ties. He played super clean throughout the set. He did have those couple timeouts, but obviously it was pretty cool to see a singles player do so well. I really do think, like, there's like some discussion whether singles or doubles is harder. I don't think it really matters. We're just playing Pokemon, and I think singles players have inherently a ton of good skills that translate to doubles. Like, we've seen it like time and time again in VGC, whether it's Michael or Bestie, whether it's Joey, whether it's Nails. Like, all these players were good in singles first and then came over and popped off in VGC.
100%. I don't even know which one is or isn't harder. I agree. What I will say about VGC is that we've got like way more of a swag factor. Like, you're not going to get this level of like a lot of people do follow Smogon singles and stuff like that, but getting to play on the big stage here on Pokemon's official stream, like, you can't do that in Smogon singles. So that's why I definitely think, you know, people watching this, if you're, you know, feeling a bit inspired by seeing Joey, you know, somebody who mostly plays singles, do well in doubles, like, why can't that be you? Why can't that be you, you know, giving it a try, especially if you're somebody who knows your stuff. it would be really cool to just see more players come play VGC because we have these IRL tournaments, the chance to play against top players across the table from them. It's something that you can't really get anywhere else.
Exactly, and if you're making that shift, who better than to get coached by than Alex Lexicon VGC himself right here. You do offer coaching.
Oh,
and, if singles players are looking to play, join up, play the official scene. And I think I just want to see good Pokemon be played. I'm never going to be mad if a singles player pops off and does well. I love watching Michael Derbesti kick ass. I think it's so sick when the dude's winning. I don't care that he's a singles player. I think it's just sick. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our brief analysis here of Joey POKEAIM popping off in the Milwaukee Regionals. Thank you for joining me, Alex.
Of course. It was fun.
And I'll link all your stuff down below. Alex streams constantly, consistently, so you should go check him out. I'll link the Twitch down below, and he also coaches, once again. And I'll link that down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.
Peace out.